Guys, welcome on into this Three Bold Takes, and we are talking Georgia and Georgia Tech in Atlanta on Friday at 2:30. Georgia's a 12.5 point favorite, and I want to mention this because it's interesting to me that Georgia Tech would do this. If you guys didn't know, this game is in Atlanta. It was supposed to be at Georgia Tech Stadium, but they sold the rights to their home games to Mercedes Benz in Atlanta for $10 million. Um, I don't know how long that is going to be. I know it's not just for 1 year, but it's going to rotate between Athens and Atlanta for the next, I guess, couple of years and meetings between these two teams. Interesting to bring up, considering Georgia Tech is a better program now and almost beat Georgia last year. So it'd have been amazing if they could somehow pull off the upset at home, but that's not going to be the case. It's going to be in Atlanta this year, and it looks like, wow, Georgia has an 87% chance to win, according to ESPN. Quinn, I want to go to you first here.
They get 99.99999%. And it's only because you moved that game to Mercedes Benz. How dare you? I love
Yeah.
good old fashioned hate, but how dare you, Georgia Tech? I was riding Georgia Tech pretty high, but they've kind of fallen off the middle part of the season. They've kind of been exposed for playing a weaker schedule, which is why they were getting wins, which we were afraid would probably be the
Mm-hmm.
case. They've played Georgia close the last 2 years. Don't think that Georgia hasn't forgotten that. Georgia's been on a tear in November. They have righted their ship. They are scary going into the playoffs. Let's be real. I think out of all the teams in the SEC, they're honestly playing the best football right now.
They
That,
remind me of Ohio State last year because they got
yeah,
beat by Michigan and then they just to went on an absolute tear. Like that's what it
yeah,
reminds me of.
they're playing better football than A&M. They're playing better football than Bama. They're playing better football than Ole Miss. They might go to Atlanta in the SEC title game if Alabama or A&M slips up. But if they don't, honestly, that's a blessing in disguise for Georgia because they're going to finish top four. They're going to get a bye. They're not going to have to play that extra game. They're going to get a lot of rest, and then they'll get to play somebody in the second round of the playoff, and they're going to be in tip top form going into it. Georgia's looking really good. Georgia Tech's looking shaky. Georgia's going to cover. It's going to get ugly. And how dare you, Georgia Tech, sell this game away from Bobby Dodd to Mercedes Benz? That is gross. It's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Quinn here. As much as I've loved the Yellow Jackets here this season, you kind of got routed at home against Pitt, and when you look at it, it's like, oh, well, are you looking ahead at Georgia? Your rivalry week, the Georgia game honestly doesn't matter to Georgia Tech at all. I mean, if you really want to be like, oh, what can help them get in the playoffs, sure, but they have the best chance to be in the ACC championship game, which that's what matters the most. So you lose to Georgia, you lose to Georgia. So I'd right the ship against Pittsburgh or Pitt and North Carolina State, and kind of didn't do that. So, um, yeah, I loved the game last year, and I think what made that game so special last year is nobody was expecting that outcome. Like 8
Yes.
overtimes, I believe it was. Everybody was like, "How is Georgia Tech still going?" Oh my god, Haynes King. Oh my gosh, this year it's not going to be the same. Georgia was surprised last year. They won't be surprised this year. Everybody knows Haynes King this year. I think this is Georgia through and through, and I'm calling a 14-17 point victory. Like it's gonna be a thrashing, it's gonna be a whipping, I think, and I really hate that. And it's just like Georgia is kind of like the Tom Brady Patriots, the Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. Like some wins aren't beautiful, but they're finding out ways to do it, and they're going to continue to churn out those wins. And it's going to be when one side of the ball isn't performing exceptionally well, but the other side is just being so dominant that it really doesn't matter. And I think they are just turning into that well-oiled machine. Well, like defense is already here, offense is starting to catch up, and when they full both hit it at the same time and definitely going into the playoffs, it is going to be a very scary sight, like Quinn's saying. So, yeah, ride with the Bulldogs here. They're ready to bark.
And think about Georgia. Two of their rivals, they do not have to play true road games for their rivals, Florida and
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. That's
Well,
kind of insane.
Historically speaking, they did with Georgia Tech. That's why I'm so mad about it.
Right.
Like-
Like that's what I'm saying. Like they get so much help with this. Like it's just I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I understand a team like Georgia Tech could use $10 million. Like I do.
Miss me with the whole it's still in Atlanta and we're in Atlanta. It's way more seats and you're not going to fill them all. Georgia
Correct.
get a lot more people in that stadium
Yep.
than they would have otherwise gotten in Bobby Dodd.
Because the allotment's going to be a lot more almost 50-50 split from the two teams rather than if it is in Bobby Dodd. There's a lot less allotment that's given to the team, to Georgia University itself.
Do we
So-
know that for sure?
I
Is it
think
If
so.
okay.
I think so. But I don't
It's a
know.
terrible deal if they did that. I would just assume that it opens up the door for more scalp ticket opportunities for Georgia to get in. Whereas-
And I guess I say that because there has to be a reason why Georgia Tech would accept that. Or they're they give Georgia Tech $10 million, right? So there's going to be something that they have to give up more than just home field advantage, and I would assume it would be probably ticket allotment. Now, that's kind of beside the point here. I will say that a Haynes King quarterback Georgia struggles with. You look at Riley Leonard last year for Notre Dame, like that's the style that Georgia struggles with. Now,
Kirby always has.
yeah, I mean, even going back to when he was in Alabama, because this game's at the end of the year, you're not going to get the same Haynes King as you would if they played this game in week 2 because of the amount of touches he gets per game. And we've seen it over the course of the year. His numbers have gone down and down. His performance has gone down and down simply because of the number of touches and how long he's actually out there playing the game. However, I think this game's going to be close. I think Georgia's going to get the win, but I think it's going to be closer than what you guys say. I have Georgia Tech covering the 12.5, and not necessarily the 12.5. I think this number is probably going to be bet up closer to 14.5 come game time, and I like Georgia Tech to cover that hypothetical number that it'll probably get to come Friday. So we got a clean sweep here with Georgia overtaking the Yellow Jackets here.